Hey guys, great to be with you again. Today we're going to talk about SEC filings. So you've got a company, you're looking at its stock, you're interested in buying this stock, but you want to learn more about this company. So where do you go? Where do you find this information? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So first of all public companies are regulated by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. And the SEC requires that companies regularly file information, which you can download at www.sec.gov. And the information that they require companies to report are pretty significant. It's a lot of information that's required for these companies to provide on a public basis. So it's one of the best sources for you as an investor to really understand the company and the stock that you're interested in buying. So the SEC has its own language. And one of the things you'll need to know is the Form 10-K, the 10-K filing. This is a form that's filed annually, and it covers the financial performance and the company business and situation for the entire year. You might have heard of something called the annual report. It's basically, the 10-K is an annual report, but it has a lot more information. The annual report is a nice, pretty document. It's printed with pictures, color printing, and so forth, and sent to investors. It has financial information, etc. The 10-K has all that and more data. And it's data that's required that companies provide to the SEC and to investors. So it's a lot of information about the company. It's great for you to understand what the company is doing from all different angles: strategic, operationally, and financially. Here's an example of a 10-K. I just pulled this off the internet. It's Coca-Cola, but basically all 10-Ks look like this. Now, we're going to talk about not just the 10-K, but something called the 10-Q and the 8-K. So I just want to put this out there now. You kind of have to learn the lingo. That's how the SEC defines all of their forms. So back to the 10-K. What are the different sections of the 10-K? What's in here? What's in this form? First, the business. So the 10-K describes the business of the company, and it describes it in quite a lot of detail. Secondly, risk factors. It actually tells you what are the risks of the business, right? And so companies are required to tell the SEC and to tell the public, the investors, what's happening, what are the risk elements to the current environment and to their business. Thirdly, there's a section on selected financial data. This, you can think of this as an overview of the financial picture of the company for the last 5 years. And then something important called the management discussion and analysis. And we call this a MD&A. Okay, so don't call it the management discussion and analysis because no one says that. It's too long. They just call it the MD&A. So learn that lingo. It's the MD&A. And the MD&A is where management actually writes specifically discussing what's going on, why revenues are increasing, why revenues are decreasing, why profits are increasing, why profits are decreasing, why assets are the way they are, why there's more liability or less liability. They basically take the business and analyze every portion of it, and they talk about it. So this is a very important section, and they give clues as to what they're thinking and as to how the business will perform in the future. Lastly, you have the financial statements and supplementary data, and this is where the meat and potatoes are. It's all the financial information, and this has the audited financial statements. And if for those of you who are not aware of what an audit is when a company invites a third party to come in and audit or review, inspect all of their books and records to ensure that they are accounting for everything properly, right? And those statements, those numbers that they're putting out there to the public are being relied upon by people like you and me to purchase stock. So it's important that some third party reviews it to ensure that everything is proper. The 10K is signed by the CEO and CFO, and they're certifying, when they sign this, they're certified that all information contained in this filing is accurate. So that's pretty important. That's pretty important. But by doing so, we can rely on these numbers, and that's the basis for us making a judgment on what we think about the company and whether or not we should buy or sell the stock. So the other forms that we talked about before, the 10Q essentially is a mini 10K. It has unaudited financials, so they are not audited as we discussed previously. They are produced on a quarterly basis. So every 3 months, the company is required to provide this 10Q filing, which talks about the last quarter, the last 3 months of financial performance. In addition, there is something called the 8K, and the 8K is a required filing anytime the company has something major to announce. So, for instance, if the company is going to be acquiring another business, that's a major thing. So they're going to put an 8K out there which tells the public, hey, this is what we're doing, right? So major events, major announcements get filed with the 8K. There are various other required filings, but these are kind of the main ones that you should be looking out for that really give you a lot of information and also clues about how the company is performing and how they might perform in the future. So you can get all these filings directly straight out of the SKAITUBE terminal. The SKAITUBE terminal was designed to be an amazing toolbox. And what you would do is you go to Data Console and you type in the command exclamation Edgar, S as in stock equals the ticker symbol, and F as in form equals the type of form you want. So as an example, exclamation Edgar, S equals AAPL, we're looking for Apple, F equals 10. And this is what we get. We get a listing from the terminal of all the 10Qs and 10Ks that were filed by Apple. So if F equals 10, it basically gives you all 10 related forms, 10Ks, 10Qs. If you want the 8K, you can just type F equals 8-K, and that'll give you all the 8K filings for the ticker symbol that you enter in. By the way, EDGAR stands for Electronic Data Gathering, Analysis, and Retrieval System. It's what the SEC calls their computer system that collects all of this data. So just in case you're wondering. So just to follow this path, we go from the SKAITUBE terminal, we click on the 10K, and what happens is it takes you directly to the sec.gov website and directly to that 10K filing link. And here you see the 10K right there. If you click that first one that says, the first row that says 10K, it'll bring you right to the specific 10K filing. And here you see Apple's most recent 10K. So pretty simple. Okay, so that wraps up our video for today. We wanted to go through all that SEC filing stuff with you so you have one more tool in your toolbox. It's important to know what you're buying, so go and do your research. And thanks again for watching this SKAITUBE EDU series. We hope to see you again on the next one. And if you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. Thanks.